Have you ever had a recurring dream? Hey guys, what's up? I'm Arly. Welcome to another Arly Asks. Today's question can be weird or it could be completely normal. I say that because in my case, it's really weird. But I ask, have you ever had a recurring dream? Now, I ask more specifically, have you ever had a recurring dream that changed as time went on? Because that has happened to me, and I'll explain. Basically, and I haven't had it in a long time, and I'll tell you why. So when I was a kid, I'm going like maybe teenager, preteen, all the way through probably young adulthood, if not like the beginning stages of college. Every so often, every few months, I would have a dream, and in this dream, I was in my basement, and we have laundry in the basement, and there are reasons for me to have been in my parents' basement. So I'm down there, and we didn't have a door to one of the rooms, so it was the laundry room, and then there was just an open space. So instead of a door, we hung a sheet. We hung a sheet up in there, and that scared me. That still scares me. Something you guys should know about me: one of my greatest fears is a home break-in. Essentially, I don't fear supernatural stuff for the most part. I'm not afraid to be like alone in the dark, but I'm afraid to be alone in the dark in an area of the house that is commonly broken into when there's no one else in the house but me. Like, for some reason, and that's another thing I actually adapted from my dad. If you've watched previous episodes of the good things I've inherited from my dad, I have also inherited an irrational fear of break-ins. Like, not the kind of break-ins where like people will go into your house when you're not home and steal your crap. I'm talking like the people who intentionally will break into your house, go to your room, and murder you in your sleep. You know, that thing that doesn't happen quite as often as just regular old petty burglary. But I have a great fear of that happening. Anyway, so this dream is tied into that, and I would end up dreaming that I was in my basement, my parents' basement, and I would be in the laundry room, and then I would push the curtain out of the way and walk into the back bedroom in my basement, and and it was still stupid. Like, it's in retrospect is a very silly dream. Even for someone who's afraid of these things, I can understand that. But basically what would happen is I would look around the room, and there's a big pillar in the middle of that room because it's the foundation of the house, like where it's holding up. So just to give you some context about how it might have looked. I walk into the room, I turn the light on. I look to the right, and there's like there's like a bathroom off to the side where you can like go into the room, and then there's a bathroom off of that room. So I would look, and a person would run out of the bathroom, but like in a comical way. You ever like if you ever play Legend of Zelda: Majora's Mask, the way that the thief runs after he steals the bomb bag, kind of like jumping up and down with high knees, like real stupid. But he would run out of the bathroom, nameless, faceless person, don't know who they are, but it was just, this is a burglar, a scoundrel. And run around the pillar. So he wouldn't even run directly at me. He would run stupidly around the pillar and then run directly towards me. And then right as he was about to reach me, I would wake up. And this dream was the only dream in my memory that I have had more times than I can remember. Like, I've had the dream, and it always happens. And I always wake up, and I'm like, oh, God, he was going to kill me. He was going to attack me. This stupid motherfucking guy, this Zelda thief. Whatever he was, it was very silly, but it was enough to wake me up and jolt me from my sleep. Now, the reason my case is weird is because I've never heard of something like this, but I'm sure it happens to other people, is that maybe about, I want to say within like between 5 and 10 years ago, so quite a while now that I have not had the dream. And the reason I think for that is because the last time that I had this dream, it played out exactly as I just stated. It played out, I walk into the basement, I go into the room, there he is, hip-hopping away around the pillar, comes up real close to me, I punch him. I punch him out, he's on the ground. I wake up in triumph. I have ended the cycle. And I found that to be so weird because, like, this is, I normally don't remember dreams. I know there are some people who can dream so vividly all the time and always remember, but I don't remember my dreams. I really don't. And the ones that I remember vividly, and I remember for a long time, such as this one. So this dream really stuck out to me because it was the only dream that I've had that was a recurring dream for years, and then finally something in the dream changed, and then it just completely stopped happening. It's like I had to, like, subconsciously, maybe it was some kind of sign that I had defeated the biggest part of my fear. I still have a fear of break-ins, but maybe subconsciously I'm more like logical about it, thinking like, hey, this is not likely to happen to you, especially if you take proper precautions, and like, maybe my subconscious is being less paranoid now about it. Whereas when I was younger, I was like, oh my god, there are so many people out there that want to break into my house just to kill me. Like, that's how I thought, and I'm pretty sure that's how my dad still thinks to this day, because he's definitely the kind of person to have those kind of dreams too, I assume. I don't know if I've ever talked to him about it. But yeah, and I found that to be so bizarre, because it really is like storytelling of your subconscious. Like, your subconscious is going through its own battles that it needs to vanquish, and then you really don't have too much control over it. I mean, yeah, normally when I'm in a dream, I can tell that I'm in a dream, but obviously if I can tell that I'm in a dream, why didn't I just punch the guy sooner? Because I was genuinely afraid. Spooked, I would say. That's the primary one that really, like, for me, is a conversation point, because I think it's interesting, and I really do want to know if there are more people out there who have quote unquote conquered their recurring dreams, if they were bad. I mean, I'm sure some people have good recurring dreams that keep happening, that they want to happen, but basically what I'm asking is, have you ever had a recurring dream that you were able to change or manipulate, or that somehow told a story of your subconscious where you were actually able to follow an order of events, rather than it just being the same dream over and over and over for all eternity? The only other one, and this one I have not vanquished, the only other recurring dream that I can remember that I've had, and it's very fuzzy, it's not as vivid, but it's always something to do with this topic. Another big fear of mine is being in a car and somehow ending up underwater in a locked car, or an unlocked car. Either way, it's scary. But for some reason, how that translates into my dreamscape, into my subconscious, is I am always with friends or family, and we are always driving around what seems to be a gigantic crater lake with a very thin rim of road around it, or like a dam. It's always something really bizarre, something that I probably will never experience in real life, even though I'm sure places like that exist. But it's like cartoony in scale. And it always has to do, I'm never the driver. I don't drive. I don't have a license. I am never the driver, but I'm always in the passenger seat, and it is always someone I'm close to driving. Something happens. I don't know. It's blurry. And the car careens off into the crater, falls to the bottom, and I physically remember the feeling of, like, water filling the car up. Like, it's so weird, because I can, like, even thinking about it now, it's like making my skin crawl, but I can feel the water filling up the car as we, like, scramble to try to open the door, but the pressure is not equalized yet, and all that other shit, and I can't, we can't open the door, and it's just terrifying. And then I wake up. I mean, I don't know if that is a common recurring dream. I know that some people, there's always the super common, like, your teeth fall out, or you die in a plane crash. Like, I've heard those kind of dreams over and over again. And I'm sure this is probably not too far off. I'm sure a lot of people have a fear of crashing into a lake or a river while driving. To me, that is one of the most terrifying things about being in a motor vehicle, even though it probably should be just getting in a regular old run-of-the-mill car wreck, which is way more common. But you know how the mind works, exaggerating everything and thinking of the most extreme possibilities to be afraid of. So those are the two recurring dreams that I've had, and obviously, like I said, the one with the car I have not beaten yet. I don't think I've had it super recently, but I definitely have had it within the past couple of years, I would say. But yeah, that other dream with the burglar, I have not had. I have not had since I punched him in the face, and I continue to this day be fascinated by that. So if I ever have that dream again and I don't punch him in the face, I will assume that my fear has been re-realized, or maybe something changed that made me feel more vulnerable than I currently feel in my own home. The only other thing I wanted to say about dreaming, crap, there was one more thing. Oh, now it's gonna bug me. I had one more thing about dreaming. Oh, that's right. I can force myself to remember my dreams. And this is another thing. It doesn't have to do with recurring dreams, but it has to do with actually the act of remembering and, like, visualizing dreams. I almost never dream. And I sleep for long periods of time, and I just never dream, or I never remember my dreams. I know they say that you dream all the time, but you don't always remember. For whatever reason, if I have time, and I choose to lay in bed and I sleep, let's say I sleep for like 10 hours, and then I wake up and I say, screw it, I'm going to go back to sleep. Then I go back to sleep, and I sleep another 2 hours. Then I'm like, you know what, I have nothing to do today, and I decide to go back to sleep. And I just keep the cycle going of just basically being lazy all day and just laying in bed and trying to sleep more than I should, like to the point where I'm sore because I've been in bed for so long. And I do this from time to time, so that's why I know it's like a consistent thing. But every time I go back to sleep, even if it's for like 10 minutes, if I've already clocked in 12 or 13 hours of sleep and I decide to go back to sleep, my body will let me sleep for about 15 or 20 minutes. I will dream and I will remember it, and then I'll wake up. And then if I decide to go back to sleep again after that, I will dream again, and I will remember it, and I will wake up. And the dreams, all the dreams I remember. I dream to the point where my mind is recording the dreams, and I'm not just like dreaming without realizing it subconsciously. If I have slept for a long period of time and I continue to try to sleep, I will sleep for short spurts, and every spurt contains a dream that I then remember when I wake up. And that is consistent across the board. Every time I have done this, I continue to dream and remember it. So I'm wondering if there's like science behind that. Like if something like once your brain is fully rested, if it's more likely to like register the thoughts that you're having, or because you're not going into a deep sleep, you're just kind of surface, but you're still dreaming. There's got to be something to that, and I find it really interesting. So I also want to know if any of you guys have experienced something like that. Because I sure have, and I think it's really interesting. So I can, essentially, if I wanted to, I could force myself to dream and remember it if I just take a whole day and just sleep, and force myself to continue trying to sleep. So, but anyway, that's about all I got about dreaming for today. And technically a little bit of touch on my greatest fears. So you got a little bonus information on me there because it ties into my dreamscape. So if you guys have any recurring dreams or any interesting dream topics that you want to talk about, please leave them in the comments below. And if you have any questions you want me to answer and then re-ask, please also leave those in the comments below. And thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.